Welcome to the NoScript show, where our sponsor, JB's Pub, always ensures our hosts have a bubble for a Saturday morning show.
I don't know why. I'm not sure dunking on your sponsor is a wise way to go about things, bro. I think maybe we need to.
Oh, mate.
JB's Pub. This does not represent all our views. I do not feel like dunking on my generous sponsor. But I'm glad you brought it up because, as per our contractual agreement, let's discuss for 5 seconds the glory that is JB's Pub.
Yeah, like I said, they just ensure that we're always ready for our show on a Saturday morning by ensuring we have a little bit of a bubblers. Not their fault. We decide to drink there. But yeah, the whiskey is always good, especially the Canadian whiskey. And yeah, it's just a good place to be. And sorry, guys, it's just not open to the public. It's invite only, unfortunately.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, JB's Pub. I actually went to bed pretty fucking early last night because I wasn't at JB's, but I had a Skype drinks with a mate of mine, and I was knocked the fuck out by the end of it. I was just like, boom. I think I went to bed at 8 or something crazy like that, because we really went full throttle, maybe 9, 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I arrived at JB's 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and I left at 1:30 this morning.
Jeez.
So yeah, we had quite a number of whiskies, a lot of different bourbons though. We decided to do some bourbon night.
Bourbon.
Yeah,
American.
have you had Buffalo Trace bourbon?
I haven't.
Dude, it is so good.
Have you had Blanton's bourbon?
No.
It's also quite awesome. But speaking of America, seeing as we have to do this now, Proud Boys stand by and stand back. Boys, gentlemen, stand by and stand back. That is the phrase of the moment right now, because apparently that's what one Donnie from Queens, current president of the United States, said during a debate. So let's get into the US politics thing, because I feel like we just have to run through all this stuff. Okay, starting at the debate.
I thought it was a shitty debate.
The presidential or the vice presidential debate? Because those are two different debates.
The presidential debate was terrible. I just felt both sides was just freaking horrible.
Guys, I hate to be the cynical one here, but debates decide fuck all these days. I think very few people were swayed in that debate.
Yeah,
very few.
I agree 100%.
Very few.
But the debate in general was really shitty, both from Donald Trump and Biden.
It was exactly what I expected. Two fucking boomers yelling at each other. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the previous presidential debate with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, that was pretty good. But yeah, this one was just what the hell is going on? Also, I find it so weird that there are most of the time Joe Biden can't put a sentence together, but then he can during a debate. And I think that oak is on some drugs, man. He's got to be. How do they wake him up like that for the debate? It's so weird. He just reminds me of a walking corpse. I don't know why. He just looks like a corpse.
Well, I mean, initially that was his appeal, because remember, the whole thing of Biden versus Trump was that, and Biden kind of fucked this up on his own. He screwed himself on this by having outbursts here and there. But literally, all he had to do to win was just sit in his basement and chill. And his whole appeal, his whole selling point is, I'm a corpse. I'm not going to do anything, guys. You're just going to put me in the White House and nothing's going to happen. He's basically running an old-timey Warren G. Harding style return to normalcy campaign, because everybody's just so fucking fatigued from all the crazy that has been going on in the last 4 years that it's one of those fatigue candidate situations where the one candidate that seems the least tiring is the one that'll win, even though they aren't good, because people are just fucking fatigued from all this crazy.
Yeah, mate. It's just it's getting like too much now. But I guess even the vice presidential debate was
That one was okay.
That was different. I quite enjoyed that for a bit.
Quick note on the stand by and stand back thing. People are flipping out that Donald Trump said to the Proud Boys, "Stand by and stand back." A couple of things. Donald Trump is not precise with his words. He is not some Machiavellian schemer that is like stringing you along. We are dealing with a man who has proudly written more books than he's ever read, and he hasn't written or read a lot of books. Okay, so I think his wordings was imprecise. It was bad optics, but I don't think he was trying to infer that he's in control of the Proud Boys and all that. And I mean, even Joe Biden got that by virtue of the fact that he didn't go in on Trump and say, "Hey, you said stand back." Like everyone on the stage got what he meant. So people obsessing over the precise wording is just kind of sad. Not only that, Donald Trump isn't the leader of the Proud Boys. He has no power to send the Proud Boys after anyone. Sure, they might be pro-Trump, and so he might have sway. But I think if the leader of the Proud Boys said attack and Donald Trump said stand back, then the Proud Boys would attack. Ultimately, 100%. They would listen to their leader, not to Donnie from Queens. 100%. But anyway, vice presidential debate.
Yeah, that was better. I think...
You know what the thing is?
I've never really seen much of Mike Pence, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he seems like a pretty smart guy.
Here's the thing, right?
What I saw.
The thing about Mike Pence is that when he gets on the stage and he talks about policy and stuff, he's on a functional level. He is not extolling any more or less in terms of policy than Donald Trump does. Like they're both extolling the Trump agenda. The difference is Mike Pence does it without all the Trumpiness around it that makes it seem crazy. That's the difference. And he's measured, he's precise, and he's so incredibly polite that even when he rips you, you kind of just like sit there and take it.
Yeah, exactly. It's man. Also, I think he's obviously been in politics a long time as well, so
yeah.
He can kind of talk, so I mean, obviously all of them can, but I think the weird thing with Biden is, I don't know, they now talking about stacking the Supreme Court and all that kind of thing, and his thing is he doesn't want to answer questions on it. He just keeps saying, "You'll see what I'm going to do if I become president." I'm like, yeah, but that's not answering people's questions. Like, come on, just tell us what the agenda is. But we know what the agenda is on both sides. Both sides want to stack the courts. So,
I've said this to everyone else. First of all, I'm okay with Amy Coney Barrett being a pick. She's a good I mean, she's had limited experience, but from her because what many people don't get is that. Kids, here's a lesson in American governance, okay? There are several wings of government. The judiciary, Congress/Senate, and then the executive, which is the president. Congress writes the laws. The judiciary interprets and executes those laws. The judiciary is not meant to write laws or bend the interpretation of laws to whatever party is in power at that time. So the thing about the judiciary is stacking it is just, well, first of all, it's stupid. What I would have done, and you will never get this opportunity ever again if Donald Trump was smart or the Republicans. It's like, cool, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is dead. The Democrats are shitting their metaphorical pants because now that's going to be another justice. And even if Trump loses, that justice is still confirmed. So here's what I would have done. I would have said, okay, guys, we'll never get this opportunity again. Let's work together to fix the Supreme Court, because the problem with the Supreme Court is not that they're appointed by the president, it's that they're unaccountable and that there's no checks and balances on that particular branch of government. It is inherently fucking broken. And when the founding fathers wrote the Constitution, they actually wanted it to be the weakest arm of government, and somehow we're in this bizarro world where it's exactly the opposite.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. The election's next month, right?
We are like 20-something days away from the election.
Oh wow! So it's right here.
Which I think now is as good a time as ever to announce our plans for a NoScript show election special stream.
Yes, a very long live stream.
Yeah, it's going to be like all the friends of the show. I'd just like you to know, y'all are invited. We're going to have a cavalcade of NoScript show stars coming on and off during the show. We're going to do it in shifts. I'm going to try not to die in the process, because I have to take a shot every time I say the word fam. So, I'm going to try not to die.
Yes, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I think, yeah, we need to definitely have some whiskey during that show.
I think we're gonna die. Like, I think we'll just, like, the stream ends when we slump over and die. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, because we kind of need to start it when the results start coming in.
Right.
And yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, speaking of interesting, old Donnie from Queens is trailing in many, many battleground states. And yeah, people can say the polls said Hillary would win last time, but even at the worst gap in the Hillary versus Donnie election, at the worst gap, I think Hillary was leading him by 7. In some states, in Florida, Biden is up by 11. In where is it? Was it Ohio? I think Ohio has changed from leans red to toss up state. So
wow,
yeah,
okay.
Ohio of all places. In Idaho, I think I fucking hate Ohio, dude. I hate Ohio as a state. To my American listeners, if any of you are not from Ohio, you know why everybody fucking hates Ohio. It's just the worst place in the world. It is literally the worst place in the world. If I died at this very moment and woke up and the devil himself came to me and said, "Hey, welcome to Ohio," my only response would be, "I knew it. I fucking knew it." Like, it's just the worst place in the world.
Bro.
If you went there for a day, you'd understand.
Like, it's basically farmland. Let's be honest. Ohio.
Hey, your favorite person, Caitlin Gun Girl Bennett, went to Ohio State University.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, freaking, there's a lot of people that went to different fucking universities.
So that's another reason to hate Ohio. Also,
you could say that about any university, because
Ohio State University is the only university that requires you to call it the Ohio State University. Not even fucking Harvard or Stanford say the Stanford or the its official name is the Ohio. Like, how much up your own ass do you have to be to make your thing?
Are there two universities?
No. It's just, there is only one Ohio State University, but they somehow wrangled it that you have to call it the Ohio State. I'm like, good God, like, how up your own asses are you?
Yeah. We got to talk about Trump and his COVID.
Yeah. So Donnie from Queens got COVID.
Like, that's also causing a stir. I love how, like, these radical left people were like, "Oh, this is so great. We hope he dies," and all these things. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, honestly, it's like people were so happy about it, and they were like, "Oh, maybe he dies," or this kind of shit. And I'm like, yeah.
It was a predictable outpouring of support from blue checkmark Twitter. Although I will say some blue checks were actually really classy about it. What's her name? Rachel Maddow from what show does she host?
MSNBC.
I think it's yeah.
And
she's like, bad things happen to people or something like that. Pray for the president and the first lady. I was like, maybe I'm in bizarre world because Rachel Maddow just displayed basic human empathy to her.
Yeah, that is weird, eh?
Like there were a couple of most blue checks were predictable, but there was a couple of them where I was like, wow, that's pretty classy of you.
Yeah.
I think the best one is there was some blue check is like, oh, I guess there is a God. Like, wow.
Dude. Yeah, I don't know, but I just love how quickly he like came out of hospital, and like people were freaking out about it. And the one thing that irritates me about it's okay. Number one, obviously you guys are so uninformed about frickin' COVID. Like 99% of people are okay with COVID. Like it's not a frickin' massive thing. So it's not like he would be in that 1%. Also, you're talking about someone, okay.
He's surprisingly virile for his age. Like,
yeah.
Also, okay, here's my theory. This man, here's my theory of how he took it. Well, firstly, it was he probably caught a very mild case of it, and secondly, here's my theory. Okay, just bear with me. It's going to be a little wild. Maybe after years of eating nothing but McDonald's and fucking hot wings and subsisting on a diet of Diet Cokes, his body has got so many preservatives in it that there's nothing for the virus to attack. Like
his body is a preservative.
Like a virus gets here, he's like, what the hell is going on here?
Who knows? I mean, he doesn't drink. I know that. So...
he doesn't drink alcohol or water, just fucking Diet Coke.
Yeah, it's funny, man. But yeah, and then he came out so quickly, and then people were freaking dying because he left the hospital. Like, come on.
Yeah. Technically, the doctors would have to discharge him, guys. Like he's the most, and yeah, all the Secret Service around him were wearing N95 masks and proper PPE. Like, guys, chill.
And it's not just that. It's like, again, it's people that are uninformed. They're like, how can he leave the hospital? He's going to spread the virus. But if everyone with the virus was in hospital, there'd be no space for anything. In fact, I don't know how many people are infected in the US. It's like something stupid, like 2 million.
Yeah. He survived it because he has the best immune system, guys. It is the greatest. I guarantee it. It is the greatest immune system ever. Everybody says it.
And he would probably say that.
I miss Bernie Sanders. I liked my Bernie Sanders impression of pudding. The rich people and pudding. I really want him to come back so I can do a Bernie again.
I don't know if we're going to see much of Bernie anymore. I think I feel like he's finally got the message from the Democratic Party that they don't want him. Well, I would think he does.
No, he finally got the payoff from the Democratic Party. He took his fat stacks of cash and is like, see ya again.
Yeah. Also, what about Trump's tax leak that came out that showed that he only paid $750?
All I want to say is that whoever is his tax accountant, call me. I'm doing my taxes this week. Bro, whoever you are fucking brilliant. Call me. This is the libertarian in me saying, fuck taxes.
But, the funny thing is, like, people complain about it, but obviously people are going to try and pay as little tax as possible, number one. And number two, one of the big reasons is like social development and that kind of stuff. You get tax write-offs and that kind of thing. Yeah. And they do a lot of it, or at least the Trump Corporation does a lot of it. So,
yeah,
the guy gives a lot of money to social development and that kind of thing. And at least he knows where that money's going, which is very different if you give it to the state.
Exactly. And yeah, I think it's... Oh, wait, we also almost forgot about the media saying apparently there was this whole mail-in ballot issue and there's all this issues with ballot harvesting and all that. And basically, Donnie from Queens said, I don't know, if it's a legit election, then maybe I'll leave. I'll have to see. So basically what he said, and what I parsed from that, is that he he was implying like if there's voter fraud and ballot harvesting and stuff like that, he won't concede the election. But if it seems legit, he'll concede if he loses. Now, I understand the intention of that, but you can't be blind to the optics of how bad that looks.
And sounds, yeah.
Yeah. So, and predictably, the media had a fucking field day. By the way, guys, Donald Trump is a 74-year-old overweight man. Do you really think if he loses the election, he's going to go full on, like, I don't know, apocalypse now, fucking fortify the White House, fucking firing machine guns off the roof of the White House like Rambo, like, yeah, I got the best shooting skills. Everybody says so. No.
Yes, exactly. Man, he's
like
it sounds really bad. It does sound really bad. And I don't think that's what he says and what he meant. I think he was just saying he would.
Donald Trump is a mishmash of words.
But also, he's very smart in saying things like that because he knows he's going to be spoken about, and that's one of the things he does. So he always makes sure that he's always in.
Exactly.
On the fucking networks and people talking about it. He's been doing
this for years, guys. Like, people like the media hates Donald Trump. Bullshit. The media loves Donald Trump, and Donald Trump loves the media. This is a man who cannot get enough attention. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, they love him. They're in a symbiotic relationship, and as soon as he leaves, their lives are going to be very fucking empty.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think... I think people just underestimate how good he is at playing the media, but just in general, even on Twitter, he's just the biggest troll. He is just the biggest troll in the world right now. And will probably continue to be till the day he dies, because he's kind of always been a bit of a troll. So, but yeah, looking forward to that election special. We'll definitely have to do some whiskey tasting while we do that. I'll see what I can create on OBS and do some scenes and see how we can incorporate it so it looks awesome. Cool, and do a live stream.
We'll get like all the past guests, Ian, Ruan, all that stuff. Just have them like jump in for like 5 minutes with us and do some analysis. It's gonna be fun. It's probably gonna be pretty tilting at certain points. Like I can see I'm gonna get fucking tilted at certain points. And like I think for my own sanity, I'm just not going to look at Donald Trump's Twitter feed during the whole process.
Yes, good idea.
It's like,
actually, no, we'll have to. We'll have to look at his Twitter feed, man.
Why?
Because we're just gonna have to. Maybe he's gonna be like radio silent. Who knows?
I honestly, okay. So I have two going bets right now. First, if Mtata S. Magashule like gets any serious legal action against him, I will burn my hat. I did state that on Twitter. My favorite hat, my gray Panama hat with the feather in it. And my other thing is, if Donald Trump goes radio silence on election day, I don't know. I have to wager something valuable. I should stop making these bets because the way I keep losing these bets is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's true. But talking about South African politics as well, we are, I think, officially in day 4 million of lockdown.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm just going to remind you, lockdown isn't over. They've just found a level that you're comfortable with.
Yeah. And don't you see how no one's talking about it anymore?
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. We are still actually locked down. Like, there are still regulations that we have to adhere to. And everyone's just, like, ignoring that now. Just because you can buy your cigarettes and alcohol. I mean, I went to the bottle store yesterday, literally 4:30 in the afternoon, the worst time to go. I probably spent, 45 minutes in a queue. There were so many people trying to buy alcohol because no one can get alcohol on a weekend.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. We are still in lockdown. Like, well, it's not freaking over.
Side note on the bottle store. Shout out to my shitty government with the regulations on alcohol. When we were initially allowed to have alcohol again, I for the first time in my life, I went to a bottle store at lunchtime on a fucking Thursday. Nobody but serious alcoholics go to the bottle store at lunchtime on a Thursday. The government made me feel like a fucking full-blown alcoholic. Fuck you, government.
And now I see them talking all about maybe they should form new regulations that bottle stores do not open on weekends going forward anyway, even outside of lockdown. And I'm like, no, what the hell is going on here? You're not going to make people drink less. You're just going to make people buy at different times. Like that's just how it is. People will find a way always.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, people are getting too comfortable and forgetting where we are.
Stop it. We are in lockdown, guys. You're still supposed to be. Speaking of weird regulations, okay, I know now, like when you go to shopping malls and stuff, you got to wear a mask and all that. Have you noticed how like there is no uniform? And I'm sure whoever I would like to marry whoever is making those foot pump sanitizer things where you step on it on the pedal and it sprays sanitizer. Partially because I think it's a brilliant idea, and partially because they must be coining it. I'm admitting it. I'm going to be a thought. I'm 100% willing to give it up for my rich baby daddy. Who I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding, guys. Guys, do not do that. I am not willing to. No, I was kidding. I'm not gonna marry some rando for money. That's fucking weird. Anyway,
but you know who's probably even making a bigger killing is whoever's supplying the freaking test kits for COVID test kits. Like,
oh yeah,
because anyone going into hospital, regardless for what you're going in for, you are getting tested. You are like people are just getting tested everywhere. Have you done a test yet?
No, but for the
Me
longest time, I remember like back in February, March. For the longest time, I was pretty roughly sick, and in the back of my mind, I've always wondered: did I actually have it then, or did I, or at some case, did I maybe get an asymptomatic case of it? I'd love to know. Like it's something that's sitting in the back of my mind. I'm just like, I wonder if I got a case. Surely you'd want to know if you've ever had it.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't be surprised if I've already had it. I mean, most people are asymptomatic anyway. So for 3 days, I had to go talk at a conference there. So I had to talk at a conference in Netherlands for 3 days in January. It was literally the second week of January. But then I got a call, maybe March, April, asking me to do a test because I had traveled. I was like, no, bro, I traveled months ago. If I had COVID, I definitely don't have it anymore. So, like, why are you calling me? I freaking doesn't matter. I didn't have, even if I had it, it's freaking gone by now. And yeah, who knows? But because I traveled in January, it was so stupid. How can you phone me after months?
I've had this discussion with my mom as well, and we're actually on opposite sides of this. She seems to have this talismanic belief that if you just do all these things, you're never going to catch COVID. Hard luck, guys. The vast majority of us are going to get it at some point.
Yeah.
It's just...
In fact, it's probably best that a lot of us get it so we can get some sort of herd immunity.
Speaking of which, there are some record fucking parties at colleges in the US of people partying it up. Which is and predictably the numbers are ticking up. Here's my thing, right? Okay, there's such a thing as externalities, guys, and this is a situation with some externalities. I don't wish sickness or anything on anyone. If a bunch of 21-year-olds who are at the peak of physical fitness in human life, who are nigh immortal, like invincible, sorry, get COVID at a party, that I'm not too concerned about. What I am concerned about are the externalities. That is to say, the non-21-year-olds that they interact with at college, the older staff, and now with like Thanksgiving coming up, if they all get sick and then they go home to their parents and grandma, that's an issue for me. So if you want to get it personally, fine, go to that frat party. I'm down with that. Like, because we it's probably a good thing, like you said, that a bunch of us get some herd immunity going, but just be wary of the externalities. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%. But like I say anyway, everyone should just be in control of themselves. If they know the virus is around, if they don't want to get it, they just got to put things in place not to get it. But
Yeah,
I love some of the memes going around, like the the restaurant memes, where if you're standing, you have to have a mask on, so you can get infected if you're standing, but when you're sitting, you can't. So,
yeah,
it's so weird. I went to Turn and Tender the other night, 2 weeks ago, and I mean that place was pretty much packed, and obviously no one's wearing masks because everyone's
right.
sitting down and eating. And it's just so funny when someone gets up to put on a mask. It just makes no freaking sense. As well as what was the other one? There's some good ones, man. I can't think of it now.
I like the there was some video, that coffin dance meme.
Yeah,
There's some video of that, like you see like some lady in China eating a bat, and then you just hear that music coming up. It's like do 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 do, do as like infection count rising throughout the world. I was like, I don't even care if it came from a bat anymore. At this point, I just. By the way, when you go to shopping malls, how annoying is it? Like I said, when you go to you get your hands sanitized and fine, whatever. And then different like a shopping mall, different stores use different types of sanitizer. So some of it is more viscous than others. Some is very watery. And in the end, just by going to a shopping mall, your hands end up being fucking coated in this weird morass of God knows what.
yeah, and
And
I
it's
hate that like gel.
yeah.
That gel hand sanitizer, man, it's just horrible. But I must say, like, I keep hand sanitizer, of course, in the car and at home,
Yeah.
and we've got fingerprint readers to get in and out of our estate.
And,
And they've got hand sanitizers next to those as well.
yeah.
And like I was wondering the other day, does that not have a freaking effect on us? Like, we, when in history have we ever used so much hand sanitizer as
Never.
humans? Like, what is that doing to our bodies? Like, I've got no idea. Maybe there's some sort of effect. No idea.
Never. Never. I mean, and I say this as somebody who takes personal hand hygiene pretty seriously. You know, I still carry a little bottle of like 70% isopropyl just to clean my hands and also to clean my like glasses or shades or whatever. And I'd done that for a while before this whole thing even kicked off. But even I'm like, okay, this is a little weird.
Yeah.
This is getting a bit much.
Yeah, because I counted the other day for me to go to the store just to go buy something. I put on hand sanitizer when I leave my estate because I've used the fingerprint reader. So that's once. I get to the store. I have to use hand sanitizer before I go into the store. I get to the checkout and then I've got to use the pin pad. So then I've got to use hand sanitizer after using the pin pad. Then I come back home and then I've got to come in through the biometrics again, use hand sanitizer again. So in a space of like 30 minutes, I've hand sanitized like 5 times.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's completely nuts. And if I decide I want to stop for a Seattle coffee on the way home, that's adding another 2. Uh, 2 times that I got to put hand sanitizer on. So literally, it's retarded the amount of hand sanitizer like you put on for just a 30-minute trip somewhere.
I don't know. Like there has to be a better way around this somehow. I don't know what it is. I just know that there has to be a better way around this.
Look, I'm really glad there are like shops are taking becoming a little bit more serious about hand sanitizer, especially like at pin pads and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was always fucking gross. I remember so many, also ATMs. I remember looking at so
Yeah.
many ATMs and how mucky the pad is. I was like, God, this is so gross.
So I'm really really happy about that because I think we do actually need that kind of shit. But yeah, going every time you go into a store, putting it on is just fuck, man, it's so irritating.
Is as just yeah. Oh, by the way, did those speaking of politics, did those did we get those arrests going from the ANC or no?
I've
Nothing?
got no idea.
Nothing.
Honestly, I've been working in different time zones the last 2 weeks,
Mm.
so I don't even know what's going on anyway, to be honest. I haven't really been on Twitter. I haven't even read news, man. It's just
Uh,
I've been completely blacked out from everything.
Speaking of Twitter, I see we started a poll. We started a poll, and I have to bring this up. We started a poll of all our hosts, myself, Ruan, and Ernst, Conscious Caracal. And we started two polls, right? There were two questions. It was which of our hosts do you trust the most with the Infinity Gauntlet, and which of our hosts do you trust the least with the Infinity Gauntlet? Uh,
Before you continue, can you please explain what the hell an Infinity Gauntlet is, number one?
Absolutely,
Because I've got no idea.
it's the magical MacGuffin that was the subject of so much furor over the last what 6 years of Marvel movies. Basically, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and in the Marvel comics, there is this device called the Infinity Gauntlet, and what it does is it holds the Infinity Stones. And what are the Infinity Stones, you may ask? The Infinity Stones are a set of stones that give you control over aspects of the universe. So if you have all the Infinity Stones in the Infinity Gauntlet, you basically God. You're basically God. So there's a couple of different stones, like the Space Stone, lets you warp time and space to instantly appear everywhere, anywhere, whatever. There's the Power Stone, which just makes you insanely strong, basically, and ups your thing. There's the Soul Stone, which gives you sort of power over living and dead creatures. So yeah, like all sorts of. Once you have all the stones, you're basically God. And the big bad guy of all the Marvel movies, Thanos, who, by the way, did nothing wrong. He just wanted the best for all of us. His his
What?
Thanos did nothing wrong. I fucking swear it. Come and get me on Twitter. I will die on this hill. Thanos did nothing wrong. Okay. So basically, Thanos is this guy, and he wants to get the gauntlet to snap away half of all life in the universe, because he says like the resources just don't like work out, so we need to reduce the numbers. First of all, that is some fucking smooth brain ass Malthusian economics right there. But second of all, I mean, half, you don't need to snap off half. You just need to start with the biggest resource consumers, and by taking them out, you end up snapping away way less people. But whatever. So yeah, the Infinity Gauntlet is that. That is what the Infinity Gauntlet is.
Yeah. Okay.
So would you like to know the results of the poll?
Please tell us the results.
Ernst got most trusted with the Infinity Gauntlet.
I could believe that. He is. I think he's probably the most trustworthy out of all of us.
What? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? How?
He's a top bloke. Let's be honest. Come
Am
on.
I not? Am I?
No, I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying
I
he is
literally
more.
live by Bushido Code of Honor. What? I had the opportunity to drag Bianca, and I said no. Do you know how much restraint and honor that takes? Seriously.
Yeah, sure, but
But it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay that he won. I honestly, he is a top bloke, and I don't mind coming second to him on that poll. What got me really fucking tilted was the distrust poll, which I won. Apparently, people trust me the least with the Infinity Gauntlet, followed by you, and Aaron's only got like 5% in that poll. So I have some questions here, guys. Why? What did I do to y'all? Like, please tell me.
yeah, I see you got 54% of the votes there.
I,
Bearing in mind, it was only 63 votes, so I guess it's. I mean, some would say this poll isn't necessarily very accurate.
I actually, and just so you know, guys, I voted. Here's how I voted. I voted Ernst is the most trustworthy with the Gauntlet. I voted Ruan is the least trustworthy with the Gauntlet. So I didn't even vote myself in either poll. Just for the record. Just for the record.
Um, yeah, I think the margin of error in this poll is probably 50%.
Probably.
So, yeah, I guess anyone could have taken it.
Also, also, so as a result of that, I said if I lose the distrust poll or win the distrust poll, I'll change my alignment to neutral evil. So if you actually check in my Twitter bio, I haven't been on like since like last night. I was out like a fucking night. But like if you check my Twitter bio now, it says neutral evil now because now I'm evil. That's the whole thing. I am evil now. I'm now evil Wotan, and I'm enjoying it very much being evil. I'm looking at real estate to buy like a fucking I don't know volcano island. That's what bad guys do, right? Like they have like volcano islands with made like a skull shaped island or something.
Yeah, that's true. Evil people are very good property moguls.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest about that. Like, and they got some very high tech fucking layers, which are always cool. So yeah, maybe it's not that bad being evil.
I have a question. Who are they contracting to build these places? Like,
that
legitimate
is
question.
Also a really good question. I also think about that sometimes.
No, seriously, it's like, hey, construction company, I want to build this thing on this private island.
Lair.
A lair? Yes, sir, a lair. And like, can you imagine explaining that? Like, also, I need this floor to open up to a pool full of sharks. Can you do that to me? Like, no.
Yeah, I would suspect they get rid of that contractor as soon as the job is done.
Yeah, I think it's a very short-lived project for the contractor at the end. It's there is no long-term maintenance going down there.
Well, not just that. I don't think that guy ever leaves the island. They probably just bury him somewhere, and no one knows that evil lair is there, except when you have colleagues of yours or people that work for you.
Yeah.
And then you have to send them a pin location to your lair.
That's true. That's true.
Which is below or next to a volcano.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with a pass on building those evil layers. Yeah. But speaking of evil, I see that I don't know if you were on Twitter. I had the worst time on Twitter recently. Like all my sports teams lost. And being a Manchester United supporter,
and I saw a result the other night, and yeah, shame. I was expecting some crying from you, but never saw that though.
You know what the thing is? And you know, inevitably, as soon as something bad is happening to Man United, the goose who can't keep his joy at bay will instantly fucking jump onto the thread and start going in on you. I'm like, this is so tiring. This is so tiring, dude. But it's okay. I wouldn't expect any less from him, and so I respect the banter between myself and him. But I think the best part was so Man United lost by a fair margin. It was like 6-2, 6-1, somewhere there. And then like hours just a little later, Liverpool had a game, and it was like a margin of like 7-1 or something like that they lost by. And it was amazing how fast all the Liverpool banter just fucking vanished off of Twitter. Just gone, done. I'm like, It's interesting. It's calm as a bitch, guys. Like, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah, mate. Like I say, I don't really watch. I haven't watched any sport recently, to be honest. And basically, the only thing I watch is Formula One these days.
Yeah.
Just really couldn't care less. Like, I just hate that there's just politics and sport everywhere now, and
Oh god.
like I don't want to be reminded of BLM every time I turn on my TV and every time I watch a sports match, which is something I watch sport to get away from the freaking real world, you know? So, man, it just frustrates me.
It
So,
is tilting because yeah, that's a good point. Like sport was traditionally, um, it was like our holdout. You know, it was where we went to
yeah,
get a
it's that 1 or 2 hours where you just free from the rest of the world and you're watching freaking great athletes doing the best job they can. Um, and that is cool to watch. But yeah,
I mean, it
um,
literally comes from the old, I think, old French, old Middle English word. I'm looking it up now. Word called disport, which means you know, enjoy oneself unrestrainedly, frolic, distraction,
yeah, it is a
and that,
distraction.
and yeah, but it talks to things on a deeper level because as a society, um, if we cannot come together on sports and things like that and just enjoy ourselves, then we this rift between whatever you want to call it, whatever sides you want to call it, is going to continue indefinitely. And it's like we will never get any like sitting down at a game with somebody reminds you that even though they disagree with you on something, that this person is another person.
Yeah,
And if we lose that, I'm deeply concerned about the makeup of our society.
yeah, 100%, man. Like I say, I just don't want to be reminded about world politics every time I turn on the freaking TV. In fact, I actually just hardly watch anything anymore. Like I said, I just watch Formula One, and
Yeah.
I basically get all my content from YouTube these days, man. Like,
Yeah, pretty
there's
much.
nothing that YouTube doesn't have. Like anything you're interested in, YouTube's got it. So, yeah, like traditional TV as well is just not.
It's kind of dead as a medium. Like
Yeah,
I'm pretty much straight to YouTube and Netflix at this
yeah.
point.
Even like I've got Netflix, but I watch it very rarely. Every now and then I'll watch it. I watched a good movie on there
And seeing
the
as we
other
brought
day.
up Netflix, no, we're not going to discuss that Netflix special cuties because I think it has been discussed to death at this point, and I'm done. Like I don't want
But
to
there
talk.
is a topic to discuss on that, and that is Netflix just got indicted by the U.S. government.
Really?
Yep, for
On what
that
charges?
on on CP charges.
No.
Yeah.
How? How did they wrangle that?
I don't know, but
I'm assuming this is related to that cuties thing.
I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's directly related to that. And the premise of it isn't necessarily just the show, the movie itself, but what was not aired. So um, what scenes were not that were recorded that were not put in the movie, and that it could be some sort of child abuse as well. Um, but I don't know if there's a guy on YouTube called Viva Fry. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but
No, I haven't.
he's he's an attorney, used to be a litigator, something, something, something. So he's pretty well versed in the law and that kind of thing. And he explains all these high profile cases and what it means and what the documents mean and in terms of the law what it means. And interestingly enough, in Canada, CP doesn't necessarily have to be children. It could be people that are over 18 years old depicting being children or being depicted as kids. So that's even more interesting from a Canadian point of view. But I'll send you the link to the
Oh,
video.
damn, Canada. That's
But
interesting.
but yeah, so they just got indicted. Netflix just got indicted, and he kind of explains uh,
Oh, yeah, okay, cool. I'll check it out.
the documents that were submitted to the court, and obviously a court indicted because how it works, of course, is this: the prosecutors will go to court before an indictment happens, and the court decides whether they have legal grounds to pursue that case. And in that case, the prosecutors then get an indictment on, well, the court decides whether they can get indicted or not. And if the court's decided they can get indicted on those charges, so yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Well, shit, I guess then we will have to take a look at it again later.
So yeah, but that YouTube channel Viva Fry is pretty cool.
Check it out.
Yeah, very interesting. And he talks about a lot of political stuff, mostly political cases. So yeah, it's pretty interesting because sometimes like we don't really understand what all these charges are and what they mean and that kind of thing. And he puts in really good layman terms, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we used to do on the show with tech, except we almost never talk about tech.
Yes, so maybe we should talk about some tech.
Yeah, fucking finally. I mean, by the way, while we're at it, I just want to say, in terms of Twitter beef, Gideon, aka Paratus 2014, thank you for accepting my truce offer. Because I basically said on the last episode something to the effect of, I don't know what it was. It was like, fuck Gideon, I could take him any day of the week. It was something to that effect. And I honestly, I just be talking shit, guys. And apparently he heard this, and Duma or something posted something about on there's this scene in the Boondocks, this whole episode about nigger moments. And a nigger moment is when one dude, one like perfectly rational African American male, it gets overwhelmed by bravado and testosterone and pointlessly throws his life away. So I basically tweeted at him. I tweeted at him, fine, pick the battlefield and we'll do it. Right? I was like, cool. Well, this is a great opportunity to throw our lives away. Go ahead, do it. And then he called me out on my bluff. And then, like, within 6 seconds, I was like, this guy has a lot more guns and combat experience than me. This is not going to end well for me. I was like, bro, I'm just kidding. Ha, 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 ha. So, thank you for letting me run with my tail tucked between my legs. Yeah, okay. So...
And that just brings up also the petition that they are doing, that Gideon is running with, and that is licensed person, not the firearm. So yeah, if you guys haven't signed that petition, it's worth checking out.
Please sign that petition, or I will die. That's what will happen if you don't sign the petition. My life is literally in your hands right now. Please sign the petition, or I will die. That's the...
Okay, dude. So what's a tech topic today?
Okay, first, a couple. I got 3. One is actually with artificial intelligence. Okay, so we've detected, first of this whole life on Venus thing. We've detected, or they seem to have detected phosphene on Venus, which is a form of phosphorus. You know, like we learned in chemistry, like carbon can have various forms or whatever. Sulfur can have various forms. So phosphene is a form of phosphorus. And in order to understand why this matters, I need to explain a little bit of biochemistry and all that, okay? This is the science section, guys. Disclaimer as always, I am a computer scientist, not a bioscientist, so I only go so deep in on a subject, okay? So phosphorus is actually one of the required elements for life, and in the great problem of the universe of are we alone and whatnot, one of the other creepy things is that we don't detect a lot of phosphorus anywhere in the universe. We detect like carbon, hydrogen, helium, but not a lot of phosphorus. And the reason phosphorus is vital to life as we know it, again, life as we know it, we are only working within a specific frame of our understanding of life and chemistry. But life as we understand it here on Earth, requires phosphorus because it's part of your. It basically boils down to the various chains of carbons and phosphorus and all that to assist in the process of metabolizing things. It's part of the whole chemistry formula that by which the cells in your body release and store energy. And without phosphorus, then that biochemistry thing just doesn't pan out. And so phosphine, as a form of phosphorus, is considered to be a biosignature and not a technosignature. A biosignature is basically what we call in astrophysics any detection of something in like the atmosphere or whatever of a planet that this element, there would be a lot more or a lot less of this element if there wasn't life there. Just by being alive, just by trees being here, it changes our atmosphere. And so phosphine is like with oxygen. So phosphine is a signature, it's thought to be a signature that it's possible that there's some sort of little microbial life or something, simple life there that's emitting phosphine, because that is an unusual level of phosphine in Venus's atmosphere.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the other one, so there's this cool article I read. It's artificial intelligence for COVID-19 drug discovery and vaccine development. I don't know any of the researchers on this paper, but basically what they're doing is that they're using they're using similar sort of family of viruses. Things like SARS and MERS, and basically they're training the artificial intelligence to recognize different like proteins of the virus to more quickly run through all the models of how we could run, like it runs simulations based on this protein what would happen, based on this protein what will happen, and so it speeds up the process by which you can identify these proteins and figure out, okay, in this situation, this is what we do. And because, I mean, it's all about getting to that protein and realizing how we destroy it in order to, pump out a vaccine.
And I'm guessing this just makes it really quick to get a vaccine going. So what does that mean? Are they... Well, we don't know. We heard Russia had some sort of vaccine, apparently. What happened with that? Do you remember? There's this big thing where apparently Russia had a vaccine. And everyone was like, well, I'm not going to trust a vaccine from Russia.
Nobody's going to trust a vaccine from anywhere, apparently. Like, everyone's... All the liberals are like, I'm not trusting a Russian vaccine. All the conservatives are like, I'm not trusting... a vaccine from the CDC or whatever. By the way, the vice presidential debate, Kamala Harris said, if the doctors say take the vaccine, I'll take it. But if Donald Trump says take the vaccine, I won't. As if Donald Trump is in there, in the fucking White House, like in the basement, just like cooking up the vaccine. It's like, yes, it's the best vaccine ever. It is amazing. Can you imagine like Donald Trump just like cooking up a vaccine? No, come on, lady.
Oh man, I don't know. I did see that Mike Pence had a good comeback to Kamala Harris's COVID plan, and he was like, "Yeah, it seems like a lot of plagiarism to me because that's exactly what we're doing."
That is unbelievable. I'm sure Donnie watched that. It is like, it is unbelievable. It is the best. Unbelievable. That was great. I think like he called her out on it in a very classy way, and that's kind of what Mike Pence does. And I mean, the thing that annoyed me about the vice presidential debate. And I don't think it actually is a binary. I think there's a lot of nuance between these 2 points, but everyone on the debate was treating it as binary, is that Kamala Harris was both, I am woman, hear me roar, and she was also, I'm a delicate flower of the field, please stop mansplaining. Which is it? Either, and I'm not saying it's a binary. I say that there is like space for nuance between those 2 points, but she was treating it as a binary. So I'm like, which is it, lady? Either you're a delicate lily of the field that has to be protected, or I am woman, hear me roar, and that you're every bit the equal of men, and you have to like be subjected to all the same shit. Pick one,
Dude. Yeah, like I said, the debates weren't that
yeah.
interesting. I preferred the vice presidential debate, but yeah, who knows? I think the next one's supposed to be virtual, which could be interesting. I'd love
Yeah,
to see if they cut feeds in a
and that's
virtual.
precisely why Donnie's saying no. I'm not going to do a virtual one.
Have you seen? There's a compilation video on YouTube. Every time CNN cuts the feed of someone that they don't agree with, and make as
Really?
if it's uh, a technical issue. Dude, it's like a 30-minute compilation of just
Holy shit!
it is so funny to watch.
Holy
And
shit!
even the way the anchor sits there and makes as if like you can just hear by the way they say it, like, oh no, we lost the
Oh
feed.
no! Cut
Like
out.
you can just hear they know that they purposefully cut the feed. It is so funny, mate. I'll send you that
It's
video as well. It's so
yeah. Please
hilarious.
do. I will say this: like, I'm not a fan of Fox, but at least they don't pretend to be impartial.
Yeah, sure. 100%.
It's like,
Um,
oh, one last tech topic I wanted to discuss. There is, I think it was Derek Honeycomb and Donnie or Don or something who were talking. Well, Donnie was talking about the price of solar energy keeps falling, and Derek Honeycomb, I think it was talking about we should move en masse to electric cars. And I didn't want to say anything because I actually understand this technology, but like I can't. Like I can't keep this in anymore, okay? There are some issues as to it. And by the way, this is not me dunking on renewable energy. I would love to be able to make use of more renewable energy. The problem is when it comes to these renewable energy debates, people don't see the equation as a whole. It's like in school, there was always that kid when you did like physics problems, and they're like, okay, you roll the ball at this speed across the table. How far does it get? And they'll say, oh, all the way. I'm like, no, because you're not accounting for like friction and air resistance. The ball will stop. So the thing is with the solar energy, yes, okay, it's a good supplement in many cases, but at the end of the day, we still run up against the hard wall of storing this shit, and our ability to store this shit is getting is not that great actually at scale. Yeah, you can get a Tesla like fucking what is it, Powerwall?
yeah.
You can get that, but the ability to store that shit en masse to power a country's electrical grid is just not there. It's not there. And you could say, hey, okay, well, we'll just build power stations in places that it's just always sunny, so that we can, sort of crimp down on the cost of storage. Sure, great. Those places are generally not always near civilization, and if you build your power plant far away from civilization, the problem with that is we run into a little law of thermodynamics in that roughly half the electricity you transmit gets lost in the conductor by the time it gets to your destination because, well, thermodynamics, and part of the energy as it's traveling through the copper wire or whatever is going to be radiated away as heat energy, not electrical energy. So yeah.
Yeah, those are valid points. I think also the amount of space you need, land mass, I'm talking,
Yeah.
uh, to generate electricity from renewables is also massive compared to what you could get from the space of or the size of a power station, for instance. So you need a lot of space to do these renewables, and I'm sure over time these things are going to become easier. But I think for the most part, guys should like if you're building a house, build it with solar. Like
With a little backup. So
there,
yeah.
there's
I mean,
no
look.
there's no point in not doing it. If you're already spending the money on building a house, why not just run off solar as well?
Well,
that kind of
Look,
thing.
solar could work even better if we use power satellites, because as it turns out, there is no sunset in space, and the energy that the sun radiates away. First of all, the amount it radiates away every day is more than the energy all of mankind has ever used in totality. So it's radiating a shit ton of energy. But to put it in perspective, if we, I mean, the solar energy we ultimately store here on Earth has been filtered through our atmosphere, but we'd only need a few power satellites just soaking up that solar energy. You can maybe put them in a Lagrange point, one of Earth's Lagrange points. Okay, I need to explain what a Lagrange point is. Lagrange points are basically points on the Earth's orbit that are really stable. It was a Frenchman I think it was Joseph Lagrange, that calculated these points, that if you stick something here, it's just going to stay there. That orbit is very fucking stable. So yeah, a couple of power satellites in orbit on some Lagrange points. And then you could, in theory, beam that energy down via maybe some sort of tight microwave beam. The problem is, when you have a power system like that, you inherently also have a doomsday death ray. The only difference is whether you've cranked the emission up from 4 to fucking 11.
Yeah.
It's just a small thing.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think I think a lot of people obviously think about it, and there are smart people thinking about it. It's just about making it happen. And that sometimes that's just, in theory, it sounds easy to do, maybe, or we can solve that problem somehow. But in practice, it could be a lot more trickier to get right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm still holding out for fusion power plants. Like, just before I die, one day we will finally get proper fusion power plants. Like, I'm hoping and dreaming.
One day, I'm sure. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Technology evolves really quickly, man. We are living in the prime time of exponential technology growth. So,
Right.
I think the bigger concern is whether we have enough raw materials to do what we need to do. I think that's
Yeah, but I mean,
probably a different topic on
that's a topic
that,
for
and
another
that could
day.
be something that limits our technology growth.
Well, I mean, you're thinking in terms of the resources here on Earth. There is a
Hmm.
lot of resources in space, asteroids and
Again,
all that
yeah,
here.
like I say, again, yes, there is, but in practice, getting it
Yeah,
is another story, you know. So yeah, all these things have problems that lead to other problems that need to be solved, which makes it tricky.
yeah, um, yeah. I think that's all my tech topics for the week.
Same with me, bro. Actually, like I said, I've just been pretty much under a rock for the last 2 weeks. So yeah, nothing else from me, bro.
I think I'm wrapped up. This is actually one of our shorter episodes. We're getting back into the swing of it though. But yeah, I am looking forward to that election streak. Actually, you know what? We've made a huge mistake here. I have to mention our second sponsor, which is Lion Razor Blades. If you need a smooth exit from your show, an exit that's smoother than ours, because let's face it, that wasn't our smoothest exit from the show, then you need Lion Razor Blades, because they will make you the smoothest man on planet Earth. Or woman. We don't discriminate here on the show. So, Lion Razor Blades, go out and buy them. They're awesome. Any shout outs you want to do before we
And
go?
that's also why you're so good at sliding into DMs. I knew Lion Razor Blades was helping you out in other ways as well, man. Uh,
uh, uh, yeah, I like. It's also why I get so many matches on like Tinder and stuff.
yeah, I haven't used my Lion Razor Blades yet. I still haven't received my package, but
Dude, honestly, like ever since I started using them, like literally every girl I swipe right on is a match. I don't know how, but somehow just the power of Lion Razor Blades.
So good, so good. But dude, was good chatting to you. Shout outs, of course, to everyone, man. Everyone
Uh,
listening and everyone on
I,
Discord. I
I
haven't been
think
on Discord in a while.
yeah, like shout out to like the OG people like Belleville Pete and
Yeah,
Rudy. Um,
and everyone. So yeah, dude.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. That was a good show.